Western Australia may be the boom state of the nation, but there's more to it than mines and money. Perth is undergoing a major transformation and it's developing a worldwide reputation of another kind in public art. From schools to parks, new housing developments and hospitals, Perth is teeming with artwork. As Nikki Wilson-Smith reports, the cultural growth is boosting local industry and creating jobs.
She's a familiar figure in the Swan River. Standing 2.2 metres tall, Eliza is one of Western Australia's favourite daughters. Perth people love her so much she has her own Facebook page and is even dressed up for special occasions.
It's not just always corny things. I mean, they had the Cadell Evans bike. They also had something for Ovarian Cancer Week, and there were people in pink, and there was even a policeman standing on it who took them out there in a boat.
Tony Jones is Eliza's creator, and he admits her new clothes took some getting used to.
The first response was fairly negative, I suppose, from our point of view. We just didn't know what was going on. And we didn't realise that it was a kind of a wave of adoption that was happening.
But it's not just Eliza who has become a part of Perth's identity. Across the city, public art is springing up everywhere, in public squares, in parks and street corners.
For the breadth of public art, Western Australia certainly leads the country. When you think of the size of Western Australia, just the kind of, the logistics of actually delivering that are actually significant. So, I think we're probably really unique in the world.
That growth is in part due to the state government Percent for Art scheme, which requires any public building works of $2 million or more to spend up to 1% of its budget on art. In a time when parties struggle to agree on many major issues, one thing successive governments have agreed on is the value of public art. Maggie Baxter has been a coordinator for public art projects for 17 years, under Labor and Liberal governments. She's excited by a new push from private developers and city councils to participate.
Particularly for private developers, that's also economic, because they began to realise that if they created art as a part of new developments, that it gave, again, that sense of place, that they could actually up the real estate prices a little bit.
Ellen Brook in Perth's northern suburbs has hired Philippa O'Brien as a cultural curator to develop and install artwork as the development takes shape.
The books all say that should happen, but it never happens. Art is brought in certain ways, in a controlled way, but to be actually in the conceptual development of the place as a cultural person has been the most fabulous opportunity for me.
She says her greatest challenge is to make interesting spaces among public housing and the sprawling suburbs known for its fly-in, fly-out workforce.
The bigness of the project is something that I love about this. The fact that I build a lot of things that are 10 metres high gives me a buzz.
And the idea is catching on. Perry Lakes was built in 1962 for the Perth Commonwealth Games. Now that history is being folded into one of the city's newest housing developments. Tony Jones has the job of turning the site's past into its art.
These are just possibility. They're not art yet.
It pays for itself effectively in the sense that the land developer would get in there. We certainly pay for it as part of the development costs. But we feel it adds value to the site in terms of people will want to live there, people will want to create the community there.
Local government is also joining in. In the town of Vincent, some of the council's parking revenue is being spent on artistic new public seating.
I think it's councils coming of age and recognising that it's more than roads, rates and rubbish. We've got to make sure that those public spaces, as I say, are fabulous.
Mayor of Vincent, Alana McTiernan, is determined to show that Perth's Dullsville title is unfounded.
I say to young people all the time, you don't have to go to a laneway in Melbourne to see something exciting and interesting. We can do this stuff here in Perth.
This flourish of work has meant that many artists have given away their starving title and are making a good living from the public realm.
If you manage the budgets well, it's rewarding. It's enabled us to build studios. It's enabled us to do things we never dreamed of doing.
And those dreams are able to be shared with some of Perth's smaller manufacturers who have struggled amidst a challenging global environment.
A lot of the art projects might actually go out to small businesses as well, so there is a flow-on economic effect which I don't think should be discounted.
You know, in a time when small steel fabricators are doing it tough, some of them, it's nice to be able to share the load.
While it might seem like everyone is winning because of Perth's public art boom, not every work of art will appeal to every taste.
You know, you get the odd person who comes along and says, well, I won't say the words, but says, what the is this you're doing, and who's spending all this money, and, you know, and this sort of thing. So you learn to toughen up a bit. So many people see the public artwork and respond to it that it's quite a privilege, I suppose.
Nikki Wilson-Smith reporting there from Perth.